We evaluate social programs first and foremost because we want to know that what we're doing works. It's not enough to have good intentions. It's not enough to have a program that we know is intending to address a social problem. We need evidence, we need knowledge that what we're doing works. We need to know whether it works, we need to know how it works, we need to know under what conditions it works, and we need to know who it works for and who it does not. Evaluation is critical to provide the knowledge to demonstrate the efficacy of what we're doing, and very, very significantly, evaluation is critical because it produces the knowledge and the evidence that we need to change what we're doing so that what we do is better.
When we're working as actors in the social justice area and trying to affect social change, we have a number of obligations that relate to evaluation. As researchers, we need to understand what we do and how it works. But as actors in social change, we need to understand that it does work and to do what works. So to do both of those things, we need to evaluate so that we understand what it is that's happening, how things work, how they could work better, and how we can translate those findings into other arenas. It's important for us to know these things so that we can do what we're doing better and that we can translate these findings into other arenas when we need to translate our program into another area.
We conduct evaluations because we look at programs that have been put together to combat a particular social issue, for example, and we need to understand whether or not those programs that have been put in place to combat that issue are indeed doing that. So when we evaluate, what we're doing is we're checking to see whether or not what we set out to do is actually being done and whether we're achieving it at the level that we thought we would achieve it, whilst along the way also trying to see if we can learn any lessons from what we've done so far.
We also need to build the evidence base so that we have not just one option but a suite of options when we're trying to affect social change, so that we need to understand which of those works in which circumstances, so that we have multiple opportunities to create change for the better. We also need to understand the way in which we need to do the right things so that we can maximise the potential of our investments, both the money that's provided by our funding bodies and the energy and the contributions of our stakeholders.
What we're doing when we introduce social programs is we're typically trying to make some kind of a change in the world, and we have some objectives that we want to achieve that are associated with that. Evaluation is a way of helping us understand whether or not we've achieved those objectives. So often we want to know the answer to questions like, has the program made a difference with respect to some kinds of outcomes? Have we delivered it as efficiently as we might? Have we delivered it equitably so that everybody who's entitled to it has been able to access it and take advantage of it? Are there things we could do to improve it in the future? Are there things we could potentially do to improve it so that stakeholders feel better about it? So we typically want to know the answer to questions like this, and we want to know these answers not because we're primarily interested in how this particular instance of the program is done, although that's important. Often what we want to be able to do is to inform what we might do in the future. So we might be interested, for instance, in rolling the program out in a larger scale, or thinking about using it with a different population. And the right evaluation can help us get answers to those kinds of questions to inform what we then do going forward. So one way to think about an evaluation is that we think about the objectives that we're interested in, we look at what we've done in the present and the past in order to help us decide what to do better in the future.